And here we are. This is the one we've all been waiting for that we were hoping to get to yesterday, but had to wait until this morning. Nathan Hedge out of Australia in red, and Chris Ward of the San Clemente Mafia from Southern California in the yellow singlet. And Wardo's stoked, though, that we didn't hold his heat yesterday afternoon, because as soon as they called it off, he went up to Hossiger and said got some sick pits at La Gravière. So Wardo did his time in the tube yesterday afternoon. And here he is, back here. Yes, he is a lucky young fella on the stroke of noon in Mundaka for Heat 16 of Round 2 of the Billabong Pro Mundaka.
Right, and now let's have a look out here. You can see Nathan Hedge in the red jersey. He's sitting way up the point, man. Yeah, he's. I guess he's decided that maybe he'll be able to pick off one. The rip does some weird stuff through the morning as the tide changes, and right now the rip's pulled sideways, and it's left that outer sandbar looking real clean and nice, Dave Bowman.
Yes, it does, Nick. This is actually, well, there they are, Nathan Hedge and Chris Ward. Hedgie in the red, Wardo in the yellow. And this is actually a carbon copy of the way the Wardo Bruce Irons heat started in round 1. Of course, injury wildcard Corey Arambidi got the message too late that he had to come down and surf against Wardo and Bruce. So Bruce started off his heat out the back exactly where Hedgie is, and Wardo decided to surf the inside section. Later on, they kind of switched it up a bit and ended up surfing the end of the heat together. And, of course, Wardo got the short end of the stick on that one, as he is in round 2 now against Nathan Hedge. And Wardo paddling against the current while Hedgie sits tranquilly out the back, Nick Carroll.
That's right, and a bit of a lull to start this heat. You might have recalled that in the last heat there were 2 or 3 set waves in succession right at the end of the heat. We're now in sort of lull territory, and we'll probably be here for the next 2 minutes or so. You can see that Nathan Hedge currently ranked 33rd in the world. He has been ranked number 7, which I'm sure for Hedge makes his current ranking even more galling. Surfer capable of great things, who currently is suffering the slings and arrows of the filthy fortune of pro surfing. And he's not a totally happy camper, Nathan, and if anything, that may be a risk for him in this heat, that he goes into the heat feeling kind of angry and not too stoked about where he is right now, and thinking there's a lot on the line here, and that can mess with your head.
Well, it's a distinct possibility, and there is a lot on the line here, and especially because Hedgie knew about 2 or 3 events ago, already in the month of August, that he needed some backup results, so he figured that he'd just barnstorm the WQS a bit and try and rack up some points at the big 6 stars and Super Series through the European QS leg this summer, and just bombed out, made it through a heat or 2 heats in each event. So having a bit of a shocker on both tours this year, and especially for a surfer who's used to a top 16 spot, it must be hard. And there's Chris Ward, currently ranked 27th. So right on the bubble, his highest career ranking, 27th. This is his third year on the WCT.
Third year on the WCT for Wardo. Came out, surely one of the most anticipated
surfers on tour.
Surfers on tour, and people have been waiting for Wardo to hit the WCT for a decade, probably. Really, he was part of the Andy Irons generation, and just a fantastic surfer, extremely skillful, beautiful style, unpredictable, but also capable of producing the kind of magic that fits the Dream Tour scenario, And he came on a tour, and he came on with a huge bang, didn't he? A second place
in his first event.
In his first event, but since then he's struggled to recapture that kind of form.
Well, actually re-qualified thanks to one of the injury wild cards after his first year on tour.
That's right. He hurt his ankle. Now we're beginning to see the first set of this heat approach, and it looks like Nathan Hedge is going to take off outside. Very shallow, hollow wave here. He pulls in. He's very deep. Too deep, I suspect. The wave gets away from him. There's a bigger wave out the back, standing up now. Mundaka beginning to show its form right now. Look at that wave.
Definitely things starting to turn on here. That first section is hollow as, and Hedgie forcing Wardo into this one, but Wardo's exactly where he wanted to be.
Yeah, I suspect so. And look at this wave line up now. Chris Ward out onto the top of the wave, beginning to wind up, big floater. He's got a lot of wall ahead of him, and I think it's going to get away from him, but still not a bad scoring ride there. As waves pour through the lineup. And there, I think, viewers, you can see what we were talking about, that the waves are bigger up the line. If you can position yourself right, you're going to be able to get a heavier score.
Hedge paddling for the last wave of this set. This is still the same set that Nathan took the first wave up, and now he's up and riding. Nick answering back to Chris Ward.
Beautiful off the top turn there. 2 in a row there for Hedge, beginning to wind himself up now. Can he make it around this section? No, the wave just skates away from him very fast through the inside section there. And both surfers kind of waking up, getting things moving.
Yeah, but plenty of excitement from the get-go in this one, as the boys have decided not to surf the inside section but move out to the top 2 sections of the wave. We are 40 minutes off of the low tide, so the wave's still going out, but as we saw yesterday morning, at the very bottom of the low tide, that outside section is absolutely perfect, but you really have to be in rhythm with the wave, don't you, Nick Carroll?
You really do, and it's an encouraging sign for this afternoon's activities. I think that set there was a sign that once the tide does turn, there's going to be some real action coming in now.
Check the replay, Nick.
Check out Wardo here. Look how deceptively casual he is. Now, you're going to watch him do a move here, which under others' feet, it might have looked really stressed out, but for Wardo, he's just so cool about it. Goes up, just boom, off the top. Easy, relaxed recovery. Goes up, beautiful floater, comes down without even a blink, and a nice snap. Very cool. Now we're going to watch Wardo take off on another wave. He's going to try and go very fast here. It's not, no human being could have gone that fast.
He knew that freight train was not for him, Nick. Chris Ward, one of the fastest surfers on tour, even on his backhand, and, well, Mundaka on that one was just a little bit too quick for him. So there he is, Wardo, back sitting at the bottom of the second section. Hedge looks like is making his way. Now, is he going to go back out the back? No. And here's a replay for that last one of Nathan Hedge.
Let's watch Hedge's style. Very comparable there to the styles of some of the other great Australian goofy footers like Tom Carroll and Mark Occhilupo. He's got that same kind of boom snap off the end section. On this one, Hedge just starts to pump, and then he gets caught up in a little bit of stuff, and I think it kind of...
The bumps through that midsection there, it's still tide affected, that part of the wave. It's great for a takeoff, but as you try and pump through that and line up for the tube, it can make things a little bit difficult.
So now our surfers are just going to go straight across the rip and out to that outside sandbar takeoff zone. They both know that... the further out they can catch this wave and successfully
make it. More potential for scoring points.
Totally.
The farther out you go, the more critical the wave is. So
you betcha.
So a little bit of a paddle for both of them. Now look at they've switched positions actually. Nick Hedge is trying to stay on the section of the wave where Wardo took off for his first one, and Wardo has actually crossed the peak and is going all the way out the back to try and pig dog his way through that first section, it looks like, and maybe rack up a little time and get his first barrel on the board for the Nixon Tube Time Award.
You never know. Well, you mentioned that it was funny that O'Ruff and Victor didn't surf before their heat. These two surfers both spent quite a bit of time in the water before this heat. They surfed for a good hour and a half this morning on the dropping tide. And
speaking of the dropping tide, here's Hedge. No,
well, you know what,
that one, but we do have a little piece with Nathan Hedge on the low tide conditions here at Mundaka. So let's go to the videotape, Nick.
Well, put it this way, low tide, it sticks out of the ground, so, and compact sand, if you hit it hard, it's like concrete, so, if you pick the wrong wave and you get dust or the ones behind, you're not getting out for it, it's massive big paddle back out, and it's just heavy, it's really thick, it's just as thick as what it is high, so it just explodes onto the sand, you're not going to get refresh, but you can, extremely dangerous, it's heavy, scare you, scared me.
Okay, well, right out of that, I knew that Chris Ward paid off sitting further out the gap, gets a long, clean tube there, but he can't make it around the rip section.
No, but it does look like he's going to go back out and have another shot at that first barrel section.
And let's see Hedge now. Hedge's a little bit further down the line. Looks like he's going to pick up the second wave of this set and see what happens here, mate. Well, Hedge hails from Narrabeen Beach in Sydney, Australia. And Narrabeen's known for its rips running through along left, and it's also known for a bit of river water every now and then.
Yep.
So the situation here should be pretty familiar to Hedge.
Fairly
Just on a
similar
kind of
to
a
his home break.
kind of a genetic DNA level of his surfing. he'll be quite in tune with this situation, and he rode a nice little wave down on the inside there.
So Hedge making his way back out, try and get some of those scores for you. And so Hedge feeling, as always, right at home here in Mundaka, which is a good thing because this is a very heavy heat for him. Once again, just to remind you, not in the race for the world title, but in the race for the qualification spots in the top 27 on the Foster's ASP Men's World Tour. Hedge currently 33rd, and Chris Ward on the bubble in the last qualifying spot of 27th. So both of these surfers really need to win this heat. Of course, they want to win this heat. That's pretty obvious. Otherwise, they wouldn't be out in the water, Nick. But this is a heavy heat for both. And let's see Nathan Carroll on that. Nathan Hedge on that last wave.
That's right. Well, look at Hedgie here. He's got the old head snap going straight out of the Narrabeen textbook, and another really nice snappy rail turn there from Hedgie, and he heads on down the line, and really looks like he's starting to get a little bit of a touch for the wave now, Dave Bowman. It's been a tough road for Hedgie, but he does look like he's getting in touch with this break at the moment.
Well, he's got the flow going there, a 1-4 on his first wave, a 3-5 on his second. That was his third. We'll see what the judges thought of that one. But Chris Ward starting off with a 7-3-3 on his first wave, and here's a quick replay of his last one as he pulls into the barrel on the outside section.
Well, he's a classy backside tube rider, old Wardo, and he knows the outer tube is much easier to ride for a backside surfer than the inside section. I think that's why he went out there. He thought, look, if I can open up with like a 4 or 5 second barrel, I'm up there for like a 9.5. So
definitely. I mean, he saw Victor spent about 5 seconds in the barrel through 2 sections on the inside and got a 9.0. So Wardo knows if he can get a filthy pit from out the back, it will definitely work in his favor. Hey, Paul wants to know, what are the most defining factors that contribute to make a surfer fast?
Okay, that is gold. Okay, well, let's pick out a couple. Relaxation, the ability to control the speed of the board, the ability to judge the parts of the wave that will provide speed. Bam.
There's your answer, Paul. Hope that was good enough for you. And apparently we will be cutting over to GT in just about 3 seconds. 2 and 1.
All right, I'm saying here with heat winner, Mr. Victor Ribas. Victor, that 9.0, tell us about that view.
In the beginning of the heat, I seen a lot of sets coming, and I took a couple waves, but it was kind of fast, hard to make, and then there comes that first set wave, and then Dyer have priority, but it was a little bit deep, and just pedal to the inside, and I tried, I pray for him didn't go, because I know there was a good side of a wave and it could be good, and he just let me go, and then I took the wave and I said, hey, it's time to put in, and I don't want to get too deep because the waves are too fast today and too small, and then finally I make the first battle, I come out, and then I make sure they make the first one, and then I put in again and make another one. I was a little bit worried about the judge because the view are not so good because I was down there. And then I put in the third one, but I didn't come out. But I was stoked, that wave, makes the difference on the heat.
Well, going out into that heat, you and Darren were both sitting, you 28th, him 29. Take the top 28 on WCT. So this was a crucial heat just in terms of you're really getting down to the business end of, the year.
Oh, yeah. This year, not so many guys doing the QS, I'm the best guy, the best surfers on doing the rates of the QS from the CT. I'm number 8, but I didn't make sure for the next year yet. I didn't qualify. So I'm still trying to do, it's, I feel bad for him because he's a nice guy, we're fighting for the points, it's a really hard time, and the tour is coming, it's going to finish now, we just have this one and 2 more, and then I hope, in some other events he got a good result because he seems like a nice guy, you know. So sometimes I feel like that, you know, when I surf against some guys, and I'm stoked, you know. It's better I do good than him, you know, because if I didn't make, you know, I'll be sad.
Now, you're aware of the Nixon Tube Time Award. They have a $10,000 watch on the line for the longest barrel. I gotta guess you might be in the hunt for that now after that one wave.
I hope so. You know, they put my name on it because I really wanted some money. I really need some money. You know, I'm building a house in Cabo Frio, my town, so it's gonna be good, you know, to win some more money. I want to say hi to my son Lucas. He's in Cabo Frio. He's a 3.5 boy. You know, I miss him so much. This year I'm traveling so much. I'm doing QS, CT. I'm like, how do you say, like, I do all the sports, you know, and travel so much. I'm homesick already.
Well, you know what? The good news is you're going to stay a little longer. The bad news is you're going to stay a little longer. So win this thing for your son.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best.
All right, well, thank you, Victor. All right, now in the water right now, Nathan Hedge versus Chris Ward. And again, another big decider in terms of world rankings and how the year's going to finish off. Nathan Hedge currently 33rd, Chris Ward currently 27th. So this is a big-time heat for both of their tour hopes as well. Let's send it back to Nick Carroll and Dave Mailman.
Well, thanks for that, GT. Some great words from little Victor. Super stoked to continue on in the event and currently leading the Nixon Tube Time Award. And back to the action in the water. Actually, right now it's the boys playing the waiting game, Nick Carroll. But as GT said, a very important heat. Oh, and I guess I spoke too soon. Every time I say that we're waiting, someone gets up and surf. Here's Chris Ward.
Well, here's Wardo going. He's going to go the big punt. It didn't quite work out for him. The situation right now, Wardo has a fairly good scoring ride, a 7.33. Okay, now for him, that means that a certain amount of the pressure's off in this heat right now, and he can try a couple of things if he wants to. Hedge, on the other hand, has a 4.33. He needs a 6.84 to take the lead. In real terms, he's going to want to try and at least equal Wardo's first ride there. He's going to want to try and get a 7.5 or better, just so that he gains the advantage back again. There haven't been too many sets in this heat. It's been a little bit quiet. Guaranteed there'll be one or two toward the end of this heat, and I think that's where the scoring range will start opening up, and the surfers will make their bids for success. But importantly for Hedge, what he does have up his sleeve right now is priority. Nathan Hedge from Australia versus Chris Ward of the USA. Couple of tour favourites here, fighting against relegation. I'm sure a lot of the pros are sitting watching this heat. And,
there are a whole bunch of boys out on the deck getting ready for this one. I mean, everyone in the viewing public as well as on tour has been waiting for this matchup. Hedge, Nathan the Hog Dog, and Chris Ward. Where's Wardo? Everyone asked that question for years. Super stoked to have him back on tour. Plenty of support coming in from the emails. Thank you, everyone, for writing in. Plenty of support for Hedge and for Wardo. And one of Hedge's favorite downtime activities, Nick Carroll, is to paddle out to the island out the back. And here's a few words from him on just that.
Thanks, mate. Oh, yeah, no, it's so beautiful out there. I've done it once before, so I knew I could do it again. Got to fill in the day somehow. It's a long day here in Mundaka without surf, so figured go for a paddle and gives you some time to think out there. I heard there's a secret tunnel out there that was built way back in the centuries ago, so I couldn't find it though. I had a look, but it's not out there, just heaps of birds.
Well, great stuff there from Hedge. It was another great day for him on, I think it was a Thursday last week when he did that mega paddle, and I think he got a little bit out of his system actually. He was really, really tense about what was going on for him on tour, and paddling out there by himself and yelling and screaming a bit, and
it helped him out.
Yeah, I think it did help him out a little bit. Now you can see both surfers racing for position on this wave.
Ooh,
looks like Wardo was wider, but he was in the right spot for this one, but the wave gets away from him. Gives him a caning. That thing just rockets away down the sandbar, and Hedge now, the guy in position, he's sitting out there, and this set is going to do what they've all done. There's going to be like 6 or 7 waves in it, and probably the third or fourth will be the bigger one. You can see Hedgie now realising what's lying in front of him now. There's a fairly solid wave. It's bending and coming onto the sandbar now. Can he make
Paddling
it?
hard. One of the hardest paddlers on tour. That island paddle apparently helping him right now, Nick.
Oh man, he gets in real nice and deep there. Hedgie driving around. Can he make it
section?
around this section? It doesn't look likely. But at least a nice little barrel ride on the outside section there for Nathan Hedge. A couple of quick rides for our surfers.
Yeah, quick little cover up there for Hedgie. Trying to better, well, he's hunting a 6.84, and as you said earlier, Nick would be happier with a 7.5 or an 8-point ride. But Hedgie right now sitting on a 3.5 and a 4.33. So Wardo is in the lead currently, and he'll be looking to throw down a good or an excellent wave score to back up his 7.33. And he will be sitting on priority as well. So Chris Ward in the driver's seat in this one with just under 10 minutes remaining.
Well, that's right. You could see Hedgie now looks like he's going to power down the line and down toward the inside section. You can see what a powerful paddler this kid is.
Yep.
He's just barging his way through the rip. It's trying to pull him out to sea, but it didn't have a chance then. Hedgie's forced his way down to the inside, and I don't know, maybe hoping to get something like what Victor Rebus got a little earlier. But
that's definitely what he's thinking.
Look at that sandbar
from his last wave.
Dredging Dave Marlman. Look at it, just barreling from way deep. Hedgie takes off, judges it nicely, pulls up high.
There's the quick cover up.
A little bit of a barrel here.
Look at how frothy that is.
Oh, man, that was a frothy beast of a wave, wasn't it? Jeez. And Hedgie tries to bounce his way around that wave, and
how fast it is. If anyone has ever seen video footage of Nathan Hedge, you'll know exactly how fast this kid is. And for that section to blow by Nathan Hedge, you can tell it's going about 100 miles an hour down the point. And here's Chris Ward, one of the other fastest surfers on tour, in position for this one. Backside, Nick Carroll.
He's going to be wanting to be a rocket to make this, but you never know. Wardo goes up for a big floater, lands nicely on the face, forced to pull into a barrel that I don't think he really wanted to ride at that point. And down the line, it looks like Nathan Hedge is going to catch exactly the same wave and drive down to the inside section. Let's see Hedgie. Oh, and he goes off the back of that wave.
Too bad for Hedgie. He was right where he wanted to be, and just maybe frothed a bit too hard on that floater attempt.
He might have frothed a bit hard on that one. It's difficult to say. That he's down in the river water down there, and the water's a little fresher, and it's easy to misjudge the wave when that fresh water's there. You'll push against it, and it won't push back. It's kind of a weird sensation. It looks like Hedgie's just like going to go a little one, is he, to reposition? Not quite.
A little bit too little on that one.
Well, I'll tell you what.
And Wardo's come down to join him.
And you know what? I think there's going to be a major exchange here. Ladies and gentlemen, a fairly large set approaching the contest zone. Looks like Hedgie's going to go this inside one. Up and riding Nathan Hedge from Narrabeen, New South Wales, Australia. Two beautiful top turns, then comes unstuck, digs the nose in.
Oh, and that was unfortunate because that wave, although getting smaller and smaller as it reels its way down the point, is still reeling its way down the point. And as we saw on that few waves from Victor Ribas, definitely room to throw in some maneuvers all the way until it just peters out onto the sandbar at the end there. So Hedgie will be a bit gutted that had that little problem on his second snap there.
Well, you know, he's had two good shots at the title right there, and neither of them have come off. There can't be too much longer left in this heat. Wardo being very, very intelligent about this game now. He knows he's in the lead. He might have suspected perhaps that Hedgie was going to take the lead off him with that exchange, but
he very easily could have if he hadn't fallen on that second snap. I mean, that wave just peeled all the way down the point. It didn't close out on him. Hedgie did it to himself, and he only needed a 6.84. So Wardo's going to be stoked because he does have priority. He does have the lead, and all the pressure in the world is on the shoulders of Nathan Hedge right now.
That's right. Well, that exchange, once again, didn't change a thing about the situation. Nathan Hedge needing a 6.83. Chris Ward leading with a 7.33.
And just looking to replace 3.83.
That's right. So it's all there with Water right now. It does hold priority after that exchange. That means that he can catch the first wave that takes his fancy that might come through here at Mundaka this morning. And you know what? I have a theory Dave Mailman.
Let's hear your theory, Nick.
Okay,
Carroll.
this is based on long observation of these crazy heats. Okay, in 80% of cases, the surfer holding priority in the last 10 minutes of the heat will win the heat, no matter what the situation looks like. Okay, that surfer has such a big advantage. Both the surfers at that point know the scoring situation. They know what they've got to get and what they don't need. And the surfer holding priority has this fairly significant advantage. Of course,
unless you're Kelly Slater.
Yeah, you can come back, but Kelly's probably going to get priority off you anyway in the last 10 minutes.
Exactly.
He's done that repeatedly this year, and if there's one thing that you can, I think, tie Kelly's success this year to so far is just that he has an amazing savvy for the rhythm of a heat and will take control of it when he gets there.
Remind everyone how he came back from a combo situation with 10 minutes remaining last year in Tahiti against Bruce Irons, that one heat that pretty much relaunched his race for his 7th world title.
It certainly did, and Kelly very relaxed at that point. He really came on strong to win that World Championship, his 7th World Championship last year, and now leading as we come into the last 3 events.
Yes, indeed, and exactly on that topic, a few questions for you, Nick. Some people want to know who you think the strongest surfers on tour are right now, and well, Kelly Slater with a commanding lead, you'd have to put him at the top of that list, but who else are you picking for still a shot at taking his 8th title away from him?
Well, geez, that's a tricky one. On that score, I'm always kind of a fan of Mark Richards, the great 4-time world champion of the 70s and 80s, and MR always had this theory that you're only as good as your last result, And I think you can use that as a guide right now. You can see the person who won the last event is kind of the best guy on tour.
So Joel Parkinson?
Right now, it seems like Parko's the man. He surfed really well all year, had a bunch of really weird, unfortunate results, and had a couple of crackers. And a week and a half ago in Hossegor, managed one of the crackers with a victory. All the free surf sessions I've seen him produce here at Mundaka have been excellent. He's just looked super relaxed and like he could pretty much do whatever is needed to win a heat or just have a good surf. And so I'd have to say, look, he's one of the strongest.
What about world number 2, Taj Burrow, the only surfer in the top 5 right now, yet to win an event this year, but sitting 2nd in the world?
Man, incredible surfer, Taj. I haven't seen him have too many surfs here, actually. I think he's been surfing out of the limelight and away from the crowd so that people aren't watching his form too much. And, you can understand that. He's been on the boil. He declared at the beginning of this year, Taj, that he wanted a world championship at last. He'd kind of like gone off the kind of aren't I a groovy free surfer guy, and he knew time was running out. He's I think 27 years of age. The biological clock's ticking.
Yes, indeed it is.
He wants one of those children, one of those world titles. He wants one in the bank, and so he's been on fire all year, but hasn't been able to peg Kelly back. Maybe this is his chance to steal a march on Kelly. Andy Irons looks unreal all the time. You never know when he's going to turn on in the heat. To me, he's kind of recalibrating what's required to win a world title. He won 3 back-to-back. Any surfer can be afforded a bit of a rest after that kind of binge.
And was actually only 1 heat away from winning his 4th last year.
Yeah, totally. That close. And so he's kind of recalibrating, but at any time he could go on a tear and win. He just crushed him in Mexico, and he could do it again right here at Mundaka. No problem at all. Wouldn't be a surprise, I don't think.
No, not at all. And of course, all 4 of those surfers that we've been talking about, Mick Fanning, Joel Parkinson, Andy Irons, and Kelly Slater, all semi-finalists at the last event in France. We are into event number 9 out of 11. 2 more to come this year. Brazil in about 3 weeks' time, I believe.
That's right, about 3 weeks' time.
Then the Pipe Masters, Rip Curl Pro Pipe Masters, to finish it all off. Well, as these boys are paddling in, apparently we're down into the last 30 seconds of this heat.
Oh man, it's so critical this heat, and it's such a shame to see it finish on such a dead note. They've just fallen in between sets here in the closing seconds of this heat.
Well, that kind of happens at the bottom of the tide sometime. Once again, Mundaka very affected by the shifting tides.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people want to know what's going on as far as weather, swell, water temperature, winds. So we count down to the end of this one and into the next one. As you can all see, boys are in their wetsuits, but those are